All right, and welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, if you do me a huge favor, we've got about 6 or 7 minutes before the start of the game. If you could do me a favor and let me know if you can hear audio, including my voice, and also that you can see my screen, that'd be awesome. That'll serve as a good sound check. All right. Kate Wo, thank you. Nanimo, thank you. Loom, YS, thank you. All right, good to have you here. If this is the first time you're joining us, the way you join is you can use an app from the App Store or the Google Play for Kahoot, or you can open it up in a browser. The information is on the screen as far as the game pin, and I'm really excited to have you here. So thanks for joining me, and wow, they're pouring in. I will go ahead and give you the full screen, and I'll be back in a few minutes to get started. Thanks for being with me today. And Zulfikar, hello. Welcome. Hey, Saurabh, welcome. Good to see everybody here. Prakash, good to see you too, my friend. Hello, Harold. Welcome. So this is like our 23rd or 24th week in a row of doing quizzes. And if you missed any and want to catch up on them, there's a couple ways of doing that. One way is to just go to the playlist for the quizzes on my channel, and they're all recorded right there. So you can take them, and I think they're a really good verification when you're getting closer to taking your real CCNA. Just go through that quiz playlist, make sure that you understand the technology that's being asked about, make sure you know what the correct answers are, but not really just for the sake of getting it right, but also knowing why the answer is right, because in an exam environment, it's just you and the exam, and they're going to ask you questions to verify if you understand how a protocol works. All right, Harold says in the Philippines, it's 1:55 a.m. Wow. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Also, if you haven't yet joined us for the office hour that I do every Saturday Pacific time at 10 a.m., wow, yesterday was great. So many great questions. It'll lab stuff up, elaborate. Usually it's just an instructor hour from 10 to 11 a.m. Saturday Pacific time, but there was enough questions where we went an hour and a half, and I'm happy to do it. Super great. And Ryan, good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. You're very welcome, Ryan. I'm happy to do this. So Peter's wishing everybody good luck on it. And the Middle East is in the house. Welcome from whatever part of the globe you're on. The reality is we are all in this together. Another common thing that we have going for all of us is that even though there's significant differences between where people might grow up or how they're raised or what they believe in, all of us can get better at IT. I mean, also being nice to other people, but in IT. And as we get better and better, it's going to make more opportunities for us. We're going to have more income or the opportunity to get more income. And that relates to or equates to a better quality of life. So I'm in it for everybody who wants to put the time in and study and learn and get better at things in the IT world. I'm here for you. I am here for you. I see Koya is saying hello to everybody. Miguel is as well. HRP is too. Peter from the UK. UK is in the house. ENG Mod is in the house. Thank you for that. Loom, Ian, Blendinator. 100% positive attitude detected. Hello from Canada. Ah, man. No matter where you are on the planet, welcome everybody. We are going to start here in probably about 3 to 4 minutes. So I give people a chance to log in. And then we'll get going. Hey, Jerry. Hello from Las Vegas, Nevada, US. Jerry's saying hello from India. Welcome. CSS is greetings from Mexico. Is CSS, is that a cascading style sheets? Are you an HTML person? Maybe? Hakan says hello from Norway. Fantastic. And Nick is in the house. The 999 J-Strick. Hi from Michigan, it looks like. Awesome. Asia's in the house. Uzbekistan. Nice. I had to think about how to pronounce that. And Miguel saying, thanks to everything, Keith. Great content at CBT Nuggets and YouTube. You're welcome. And whatever you're using, everybody, for your main course of study, I'm here to help. I don't care. I mean, I make a living at CBT and they take care of me and I put my heart into that. But whatever it is you're studying, we all come from different backgrounds and have different budgets and everything else. So whatever it is you're using to study, I want to help you get there. All right, Michael. Oh, I have a couple of Michaels, and one's from Florida, and one's from Texas. Welcome both. Chromic is in Maryland. Oh, and Greece is in the house. Epemi. Okay, so I think I have a challenge. My accent's not great, so welcome everybody. Nigeria, Kenya, Germany. It's an international affair. I'm so grateful for everybody. You know who needs IT services? Everybody. And as we get better at working with it, we'll be more valuable to our families and to our customers and to our friends. Morocco's here. DC's here. Kebabistan is here in the house. Great, great, great. Eddie, you are welcome. Algeria, welcome. I am a CLG student. Do you think I can crack CCNA? Says book. The answer is yes. Malaysia's here. Fantastic. Yeah, I think anybody can get the CCNA. My brain is pretty much average. It really is. I married a very smart person, but my brain and my kids are super smart, but my brain's super average. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's just a matter of applying. And it may take a little longer for some, less than others, but totally worth it. Let me say hi to everybody. See you. I'm going to put myself in the upper right-hand corner. It's great to see you. All right. Take a look at my watch. Just under like 45 seconds and we will kick it off. I'm so glad that you are here. If you're just joining us for the first time, you can join this live event if you're watching it live. If you're watching the recording later, it won't be available. But if you're doing it live, you can join. The pin code is on the screen. Also have the pin code at the bottom so you can join later during the game. And give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. And we'll see who ends up on the winner's podium. But reality says that if you're playing this game, you're participating, you're on the Discord server, helping other people study and get better, you're winning. That's really the secret. Just keep on going. Yeah, the Discord server yesterday, we had our instructor hour. Oh my gosh, it was great. I learned some new things. I learned about a command I'd never used before. And we talked about spanning tree. We talked about OSPF. We talked about Ether channel. And it was great. I loved it. And some really great questions and some great elaboration was done and fantastic. Okay, I'm looking at my feedback here. We are about at 100 people. We have more than that in the room. We have like 150 in the room, it says, and about 100 playing. That's great. So if you want to still sign in, do it now. The Solid Shadow. I'll tell you what, the Solid Shadow. You always give me a solid. I appreciate the reinforcement. Thank you for the super sticker. You're awesome. My goal is to help anybody who wants to get better at IT and working with Cisco to get there. So thank you. You've always been a really great support. I appreciate that. Okay, let's get this party started. This is all about interface issues. And I took a little liberty in thinking, wow, so many things are an interface. It could be layer 2 switched interfaces. It could be routed interfaces. It could be lots of things. These are in random order. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Start. I gave you 90 to 120 seconds on these questions. Here is your first question. Good luck, everybody. You got this. Have fun. And to be clear on this, I'm asking why it spit this console message saying bad mask /29. Oops, sorry about that. Let me move that screen. All right, why is that message being provided? Let's take a look together. I'm curious. I'm game. I want to find out too. So the message is bad mask for /29. So this is an IP address being applied to an interface, or trying to be, so why didn't it work? So if we look at the mask, it's a 248 for that last octet, which represents /29. So if we did 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1, as that last octet, and we go out, so we have 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's our dividing line. Network this way, host bits that way. That's our block size. So our subnets would be 10.67.83.0, and then 8, and et cetera, et cetera. And if we take a look at this subnet right here that it's in, or that this IP address in, that's the broadcast address for one of our subnets. So unfortunately, you can't use that. So what we have to do is use either some host address where it has at least 1 bit on and at least 1 bit off in the host portion. So that's the broadcast address for a subnet, and that's why it says it's a bad mask. It's like, Keith, that's sneaky. Yeah, but it's real. So if you that's one of the benefits of labbing it up too, is that you have practice with, like, why did that come up? And then you can look into it and then reverse engineer, oh, that's why it's telling me it's a bad mask, because that's the broadcast address for a subnet based on the mask we supplied. That's why the mask is bad. If we'd made it a 240, 1 bit less, like a /28, it would have been okay. All right, so how did we do on that one? We have 38 people on the right answer. That's great. And that's all tied into subnetting. I would encourage you also, if you haven't yet done so and you want to learn IP addressing and subnetting, I have a playlist called Subnet Saturdays. It's 12 videos long. You can go from 0 with IPv4 addressing to hero in a matter of those 12 videos, if you'll simply just do them. They're just waiting for you. As long as you want to wait, they're sitting there in the YouTube channel, ready to go. All right, next question is, who's on top? Excited Dingo. Yeah, nice. All right, here we go. Moving forward, our next question is this. It's multiple select. That means there's 2 correct answers here in this one. What is true based on this output? There's 120 seconds on the clock. Good luck, everybody. What is true based on the output shown? It is red and blue. And man, a lot of people got that right. Fantastic job. So let's take a look. Default bandwidth and delay are being used. And a frame check sequence has failed. Let's go ahead and take a peek at that topology real quick. So see here, down here, let's take a look. We have some multicast. Let me change my pen color, make it a little more effective. And again, if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome to the quiz. I just want to confirm what we're looking at. So we have some multicast traffic. We have traffic that was received. We have traffic that was sent. And we have some CRC errors here. That's not good. Cyclical redundancy check. That means the FCS failed. When you get a frame and it came in, it was mangled, and the CRC fails, that's going to indicate we had an error. So the input error would go up as well as the CRC if that's what the problem was. We also had one overrun. And some interface resets. That's the Cisco. It's the Cisco device trying to correct this on its own. All interesting. What was our options here? Default bandwidth and delay are being used because it is a gigabit interface, and that is right there. So it says here. Oh, I was clicking on it. 1 second. So the bandwidth there is 1 gig, which is the default for that hardware, and the delay is 10 microseconds, which is the default as well on that type of interface. Which we'd only care about the delay maybe if we're using EIGRP. All right, well, good work. Congratulations on getting that. And that is definitely part of the blueprint for CCNA is understanding some of the details, like what does this mean if this happens, if you see it on the show interface command. All right, so let's use on top. Excited Dingo is still on top. Fantastic. And we have Clever Wildcat is the highest climber, so excellent work there. Here's your third question of 8. Multiple select. I'm looking for 2 correct answers based on the output, which are likely. Enjoy. All right. There may be a duplex mismatch. I'm so glad that you, most of you nailed that part of it. That's fantastic. And let's talk about why that is. Let me bring up my pen real quick, and let me use a color like, red. I'm going to pick my color. All right, I'm going to pick red. So down here, I noticed that we have like a whole bunch of collisions. Now, is it any coincidence that we have 67,830 collisions? My CCIE number is 6783. That's a little Easter egg forever, if you know me. Anyway, I doctored this up a little bit because I wanted to create some output we could look at. So collisions, are they bad? Are they good? What's up with a collision? Well, you know what? Let's make this an educational moment. Let's talk about that for a moment. CSMA CD. CSMA/CD. What the heck is that? It stands for carrier sense, meaning, am I connected to a carrier? Can I listen to the network? Multiple access, that's the MA. There's many devices that might want to talk on that network. And then the /CD is collision detection. Think of it like this. If you and I wanted to cross the street, think of it like a PC getting on the network and sending frames of data and bits on the network. We'd go to the street and we'd look both ways, make sure it's what? Make sure it's safe, right? No cars. So we're carrier sensing, we're paying attention, and we realize that there could be other people and cars on the street and so forth. We see it's clear and we go for it. Now, if we go for it and a truck comes, bam, we get run over, that's going to hurt. And that's collision detection right there. That's basically saying, I was going and they were going and we ran into each other and they all back off. So that's carrier sensing multiple access with collision detection. It's like you look for it to be clear, you think it's clear, and then you go for it. Ta-da! Now, we only need that with half duplex, because that's how it used to work like decades ago. But with switches in full duplex, we turn off CSMA CD. We turn it off. We don't need it, because full duplex means every port on the switch has a couple full lane highways. One going to the switch from the PC, one going to the PC from the switch. That's pins 1, 2, 3, and 6 on the UTP cables. And it's like every device has a dedicated lane of traffic, and there's no collisions, or shouldn't be any collisions in full duplex. And then the switch in the backplane magically makes all that traffic move to the right ports based on its layer 2 forwarding. It's a magical thing. So if you're using half duplex, and you have carrier sensing multiple access with collision detection, which you use with half duplex, collisions are normal. Now, what happens if you have a switch that is configured for full duplex and the client, it could be a router, it could be a PC, it's configured for half duplex? Effectively, the PC's doing that carrier sensing, making sure it's safe to go, and the switch is like, hey, I'm always ready. And if you have a switch and you have lots of traffic going in and out, the switch at full duplex is never checking. It's just boom, 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 sending frames, and the poor client, right? The poor client is like, hey, I think it's clear. I'm going to send my traffic. Bam, got run over, collision. So the way it does that is basically it can sense that, hey, what I'm sending out is getting mucked up by somebody else's signals at the same time. That's not good if it's half duplex. There's also a thing called a late collision. So based on the speed of the interface, after so many bits have been sent out, we're assuming that, oh, it's good. It's like making it 3/4 of the way across the street. I made it. I'm good. Now, a late collision is when we have a collision after that amount of time, and it varies based on the interface speed. So there's a collision, which, hey, we both, like two devices tried to talk at the same time on half duplex, and they didn't see each other because they both thought it was clear. That's a collision. And a late collision is not Domino's Pizza, that got in a traffic accident because they were late delivering your pizza. A late collision is a collision after the point when everybody else on the network, on that local segment, should have heard me, and yet I still have somebody else competing and trying to go in and hurt me. And that's a late collision. All right, I think I just gave away 2 or 3 other answers by explaining all that. So let's go back and take a look at this real quick. So we have these collisions, and if you want to see the late collisions, you can do a show controllers, and show controllers will break down the details. I see. Maybe it's show traffic. Show. There's a separate command which will break out your collisions and show you which ones were normal and which ones were late. And here's your. Well, you can also look at that attribute right there. Okay. Yesterday when I was labbing this up, I just tried to beat the knockers out of this guy, and because it's a virtualized environment, I had a very difficult time forcing collisions, so I had to doctor some of those up. Okay, that's that. Let me clear that up. Let me take a look at the queue real quick. Oh yeah, and Mobilis is saying that CSMA/CA is collision avoidance. Let's talk about that for a moment. So collision detection is like, oh, I just ran into somebody and I got to back off and they got to back off. So collision avoidance is like this. You go to that street, right? You're on that street and you want to make sure it's safe. So you take your little sibling and you say to your little sibling, hey, run across the street real quick. Let's see if you make it. And if the little sibling makes it across the street, it's clear. And you got a free, because you can run faster, you got a free pass and you're not going to get hit by anything because the little guy made it. If the little guy doesn't make it, like, wham, he gets smacked, like, oh, yeah, we're going to avoid that. We're avoiding the collision for ourselves, but we did send a little discovery frame that may or may not have made it. So in wireless networks, you don't really have full duplex, even with MIMO and, Wi-Fi 6 and everything else. There's still only a certain set of frequencies that you're using, and it pretty much operates as half duplex all the time. Anyway, collision avoidance, what a great story. Today, in high-speed networks with full duplex, we should rarely, if ever, have a collision. All right, let me get back off my soapbox there. And let me get rid of my pen, and let's continue on. All right, so cable. Oh, and regarding the cable over 100 meters, the reason that's true is because if we're having late collisions, that could be caused because two devices, if the cables are out of spec and too long, they just may not see each other's traffic before they start sending because they both thought it was clear. All right. Let me go ahead and move forward. Excited Dingo, 4,506 points, followed by Fearless Horse, Happy Glider, Agent Alpaca, and the Honest Giraffe, sticking his neck out for everybody in fifth place. All right, here we go. Question 4 of 8. Based on this output, which of the following are true? There's 120 seconds on the clock. You get more points the faster you correctly answer. You get 0 points for an incorrect answer. So balance that. Oh, and good news. In the real exam, they don't play this music for you. Oh, and non-emo on that previous question thought it was 100 megs, not 100 meters. Gotcha. Now, Doobie, you're welcome for that answer. Also, after this quiz question, I had a question saying, what was the new command you learned yesterday in the office hour? I'll share that coming up. All right, based on this output, which of the following is true? Wow. Okay, so I labbed this up yesterday. I had a little 3750, powered it up, and connected an access point to it, and looked at the information. This was learned via CDP, the actual device name. Otherwise, we just show a PD. Also, we should talk about what is a PD. A PD is a powered device, a device that's getting power via power over Ethernet. So here on the interface, I actually manipulated the max power to 17 watts. And for a class 4 device, I think the default might be 30. In any event, you can police and you can set it up. And what happens is if we set up a limit and we police it, when a device, a power device, like a web camera or some other Internet of Things device, when it asks for power and if it tries to take more than what we're saying for the max, that port, based on how we have it configured, could go into error disable state, and stop. So yesterday is so fun. I would just tweak it. I'd go in and say, okay, the maximum is 16, and I could just see the LED on the access point just go boo off. I change it back and take the port out of air disable and set it back, and it was great. A lot of fun. So this is a reality as far as power over Ethernet. It gets more and more popular all the time. So I wanted to at least expose you to that as part of an interface challenge. And based on how that was configured, less than 17 watts would have to be used, or the port is going out of commission. All right. Appreciate your participation with all of that. Here is our next question coming up. Excited Dingo refuses to let go of the lead. Congratulations to everybody who's participating. Anybody who wants to can get really, really good at Cisco. And the basics and the fundamentals will serve you for a long time. They will. And my goal is to help you get there. So what will the IPv6 routable IP be? Now, I also want to give you I'm going to give you some time. This is Keith Barker signing off for 107 seconds. How many of you are saying, please let this question be over? There's a lot of characters on the screen. I agree. There's a lot. All right, a few seconds left. Get those answers in. No pressure, but the pressure's on. All right, we had a majority of votes, 47, on the correct answer. So let's talk about that for a moment. Let me go ahead and bring up the media. And I'm just going to give you a brief highlight, and then I'm going to turn you loose on a video that I just dropped about an hour ago that explains exactly how this works. So here is the short story. If we have a MAC address like this, for the EUI64 portion, when we create a brand new host address in IPv6, this also applies for the routable address as well as the link local address that starts with FE80. It needs to create a 64-bit host address. So it takes the MAC address, which is 48 bits, and it surgically injects right in the middle of it. It injects FFFE. So in IPv6, each character is hex. It represents 4 bits. So the MAC address is 48 bits plus 16 bits more. It injects in the middle, and that is almost going to be our host address. Except what it also does is it flips the 7th bit. So if we take 0, 2 here, and we do that in binary, that'd be 0, 0, 0, 0 for that guy. But I'll put an arrow. And the 2 would be 0, 0, 1, 0. So this is, like binary. This is the 1's position, the 2's position, the 4 position, and the 8 position. So if that's the current value, what it would do is flip that last bit, 7th bit, and it would say, okay, those would all come down, that comes down, that comes down, but this bit gets flipped, which would make it a 0, and then that bit comes down. So we're flipping the 7th bit, so the answer would be 0, 0, and then we have these 2 zeros, so we have 0, 0, and we have 6, 7, then we wedge in F, 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 E, and then we have the rest, 8, 3, and then we have 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, and then we put some some periods in there. So that would be 0, 0, 0, 0, 6, 7, da, 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 da. Oh, I'm missing a character. Hold on a second. Oh, that's my one. Oh, I'm looking for 64 bits. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So, yeah. 1, 2, 3. My brain just went south. Hold on a second. Hold on one moment. Let me just do this again real quick. Because I was like, can I do it? I don't know. Can he do it? Let's do it. Wow. Okay. So I put my thinking cap on again. So the address is going to be 0, 0 for those two, because we're going to flip that 7th bit. 0, 0, 6, 7. And then we're going to inject F, 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 E, pick up on the 83, and then 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then we put our periods in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So there we have 64 bits. Whew, I got a sweat doing that. Anyway, that should be the host address, which hopefully is going to match this guy. So if we look down here, it's right there. So if you have leading zeros, you can leave those off. If you have a whole bunch of consecutive zeros, you can just put a 0 there. This is a shortcut way of referring to it, but there's the 0, there's the 6, 7 FF, there's the FE 83, and there's the zeros. Whew. All right, you know what? We got one more of these. So if you learned anything from that, or if you think you can repeat that behavior, fantastic, because we have another question related to it. These are randomized, so I don't know when it's going to be, but we only have 2 more questions. 3 more questions, so it's coming up. All right. Oh, by the way, have I told you? Thank you for being here. It's so great to have you. Let's take a look at our next question. And the leader is still Excited Dingo, and we'll click on Next. Why isn't the route for 10.13.0 in the routing table? All right. Why isn't the route for 10.13.0 in the routing table? Most of you got that, did a great job on it. Let's talk about why that is. I'm curious. So here we went to an interface. Here we gave it an IP address. So we logically said this interface gig0/2 is on the 10.13.0 network. So why isn't it showing up here as a directly connected network? And the answer is, well, if that interface is not up, that directly connected network is not going to show as connected. So that is what I think the answer is there. And let's see if that is the answer. Yeah, if that interface is administratively down, it doesn't matter what IP address we put on the interface. If it's down, it's going to pretend like it doesn't exist, and we don't have a route to it, to that network. All right. Wow, Agile Buffalo has 5 correct answers in a row. My congratulations to everybody who's participating today. Excited Dingo still takes the lead, followed by Fearless Horse, Great Bobcat, and Honest Giraffe still in the top 5. Way to hang on, my friend. All right, question 7 of 8. What is at risk based on this output? Again, our focus today is about interface issues, which is quite broad because there's a lot that goes on with an interface based on a switch or a router. Oh, and I keep forgetting to show my screen regarding the command I learned yesterday in the instructor hour, office hour. We'll get it done eventually. All right, I'm going to remove one of the options from the board. Based on this output, we don't really have a risk of DTP hacking because we're not using DTP. The trunk mode is on. So if you are still thinking about it, don't go red. Also, green's never a good answer because there's always risk. I'm so sorry. If I could take back those words, I would. But there is always risk. It's like someone said, it's risk-free. There's zero risk. There's no problem here. Let me just talk for a moment about why that answer is correct about... well, let's take a look at the problem here. So, show interface trunk. Let me change my width of that pen just for a moment. And a lot of people from all over the planet joining us today. So good to have every single person. I'm so glad. Join us also for the office hour, which happens every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you have questions on any of these questions or something you're studying, you want a little clarification, bring it. A lot of great opportunity to get some very personalized attention regarding something that you're currently studying. Okay, so switch port or show interface trunk. We have 2 trunk ports. Mode is on, so we're not using negotiated. The encapsulation is 802.1q. Native VLAN is 1. Fantastic. It looks like everything's being allowed on gig 1/1 and nothing's being allowed on 00. So what that implies is that this device, this switch number 2, is not the root bridge because if roots don't block. They just don't. All their ports are designated. And so we're not forwarding anything on gig 00, and we're doing blocking. So the risky part here is that these codes over here. So P2P, what that means is that from this switch's perspective, it's connected to, on these 2 ports, to another device, full duplex. That's what P2P means. So if if by some crazy wacko scenario you're connected on half duplex, it won't say P2P. But today we're all going to be connected, with our high-speed networks with full duplex. All right, so that part is okay. But what's not okay here for these trunks is edge. The keyword edge means that port fast is enabled. Now, Cisco spanning tree port fast, meaning we're not going to wait for the whole listening and learning state. Well, it's rapid spanning tree. Based on, it doesn't say that here. Anyway, with rapid spanning tree, it's not going to go through all the waiting game. It's going to go ahead and start forwarding, and that's what this edge means. So whether you have the default for port fast or you have it hard-coded on an interface, with a trunk, it's going to make you force it. So if you just try to do port fast default, and it'll say, yeah, you need to put the port fast command on the interface for a trunk, and you need the keyword trunk to say, yep, I'm serious, I really want to do this, and then it's going to yell at you, hey, this is a really bad idea. By putting edge or putting port fast enabled on a trunk, this guy could start forwarding with possibly thousands and thousands of MAC addresses and so forth for VLANs before it realizes that, hey, I'm not really, there's another path to the root bridge, and this could be a loop, which could cause layer 2 loops. Will it be temporary? Yeah, but man, a broadcast storm? One broadcast. Pop. Just going around your network at the speed of light times 0.8 minus the, how fast the circuits can do it. It's bad news. And so we have other techniques like storm control and other techniques as well. But generally speaking, you'd never want to have port fast enabled on your trunk ports. Going to an end device like a workstation or a printer or something like that, no big deal. But not on your trunk ports, and that's why you have to force this to make it work that way. It's not a great idea. And that's the risk. The risk is layer 2 loops. And let's take a look there. So we got 32 on that correct answer. Great, great, great. Oh, before I forget, yes, thank you for the reminder. So this is the command I learned yesterday. somebody asked, hey, Keith, if we do a switch port, or I'm sorry, Ether channel, and you do channel group like one, channel group 1, and you specify the mode as active or passive or desirable or auto based on LACP or PAGP, how come we also have this guy, channel protocol? And I've never used this command before. And so Kelvin, who is the admin on the Discord server, chimed in and said, yeah, that's an added precaution so that if you're using LACP or PAGP and you want to make sure you don't make a mistake about configuring active when you meant to say passive or doing desirable when you meant to do active, by specifying the channel protocol, it's going to warn you, hey, you just said you want to use LACP, but you just said, auto or something like that. And it would complain saying, you're not using the right command for the protocol you want to use. Oh, look at that. Am I being hacked? No, it's just timing out. So that was that. What was the other thing I wanted to mention? You guys can remind me in the queue. That'd be okay. And I'd be happy to bring it up. All right. So what is at risk? Layer 2 loops. If we do port fast, which is enabling forwarding before we're sure we don't have a loop. All right. Agile Buffalo has just taken first place. Let's give him a moment. Way to go, Agile. And 4 players just hit answer streak number 3. We are really close to the end. I think we have like one more question. And that's it for this game. All right. Question 8 of 8. What will the IPv6 routable IP address be? Oh, you guys have got this. Yes, I hear you. The music makes me nervous too. Because it builds closer to the end. All right, I'm going to take red and green off the screen off the playing board because those are link local addresses. Red and green are link local addresses, so they're not IPv6 routable addresses. That means you got 2 choices here. Obey, you're very welcome. Good to see you. So Yin, this is the same type of question, but with a different base MAC address. So yeah, this is very similar to what we had earlier, except it's got less possible correct answers because 2 are link local, and the source MAC address is different. All right, Ian's saying, can't fool us this time. My goal is to have everybody master this content. And that way, when you're in a certification exam, they throw you something, you can smile and say, oh yeah, I learned this on my studies for CCNA. I reinforced it with Keith on the Keith Barker YouTube channel. I'm ready. Final moments. All right, well, that's an improvement from last time. That's great. So basically, we flipped that IP, or that 7th bit again, based on the source. And if you would like to, please, I dropped it like maybe an hour ago, the video that does this. I called it something like the EUI 7th flipping bit. It's the unique, or the universally assigned bit. It's titled U. It's the 7th one in. And if you practice it a couple times, you'd be good. Now, you might say, Keith, do I really need to know that for CCNA? And based on some things I've been hearing, I'd say yes, you definitely do if you want those points. Otherwise, I wouldn't put it here and give it the emphasis I have with a dedicated video. Just like EIGRP, I did a dedicated video for EIGRP for CCNAs and also flipping the 7th bit for CCNAs because, my friends, you need to know it. All right, you've been warned. All right, let's take a look at the podium. And, let's take a look at the podium. And at the top of the pile, who is it going to be? 3rd place is Fearless Horse. Excited Dingo. Whatever dingo sounds dogs make. And Agile Buffalo coming out on top. Everybody's a winner because you're here. I mean, that's half the battle, is putting in the effort. And let's also do this. If you'd provide me, these are these are the toughest 5 questions that most people got wrong. So 31% of the answers were correct. And what is at risk? And why is this console message being provided? And which are likely? And so it goes on. And that shows me the percentage. And that just tells me what I can focus on and work on. And here's the good news. Also, if you would, on your apps, let me go back here for a second. If you would go ahead and on your app or on the website, if you're playing it that way, give me some quick feedback, and then we'll wrap this puppy up. So thanks for your feedback. Thanks for participating. What was I going to say? Let's see. I showed you the command I learned yesterday in the video that I just dropped. It walks about through demonstrations of that 7th bit being flipped. And a lot of people say, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people. I've seen many times talk about the university assigned versus locally assigned MAC address and how that bit has to be on or off respectively. And the reality is it just flips. So whatever you start with, when you do your EUI64, it flips. So if it was a 1, it goes to 0. If it was a 0, it goes to a 1. And I don't even care that it's the, U bit, the university assigned bit. It doesn't matter to me. Well, I guess, yeah, I don't have a practical reason to care other than knowing that it flips and I can predict what that MAC address, what the resulting EUI64 address is going to be. All right, that is it for the quiz. Saturday, 10 o'clock Pacific time. Adjust your calendars. I know we have people from all over the globe. It's great to have every single one of you here. If you haven't, click on subscribe so it's easier to find Keith Barker, talking about myself in the third person, easier to find me. Also, there's a link for Discord, so you can join my Discord server. The admin there is Kelvin and also Trevor. Kelvin just does above and beyond the Call of Duty. If you're a video gamer, that's fun too. In helping people. Oh my gosh. And Morgan and others and Dave and other people who are chiming in and helping others. It's fantastic. It's a great community. And then every Saturday, Pacific time, 10 a.m. is my own personal office hour. So if you want to come and bring your questions, specific questions to me, like I'm studying HSRP and how does this work? Or what's that virtual IP address do? Or how does this OSPF thing work? Or whatever it is. If it's CCNA related, bring it. And I'm happy to chat with you. And yesterday we stayed an extra half hour because we had questions that were in the CCNA world. And I want to make sure everybody got their questions answered. So if you need to bolt. We'll see you next time. And I think I'd like to stick around just for a moment and see if there's any questions in the queue that I can easily address right here in this live stream. Also, if you have a question, so I don't have to scroll through the whole thing, you can just do an @Keith Barker. And so it highlights on, and then give me your question, and that way I can see it a lot easier. What else did I want to mention? To mention Discord, I mentioned subscribing, so you can find me. Oh, hopefully you're committing to a date when you're going to take your CCNA exam, or maybe you already have it. What's your next exam going to be? Committing is a fantastic tool. It helps me keep motivated, and these streams keep me motivated too. Like yesterday, what day? It's Saturday. It was Saturday yesterday, so it's Sunday today. So yesterday I was like, okay, I've got a live stream tomorrow. And I have the topic, it's interface issues. And so I said, I better spend a few hours labbing up and creating some questions that are attuned to the CCNA. And I did. So having commitments and obligations are a good thing. They can keep us moving. So I'd like you to figure out when you're going to take your next exam. Maybe it's a NP level exam, professional, or maybe it's the CCNA. Maybe it's the CCIE you're looking for. All good. I'm interested in this channel. My focus is to primarily help people with that first leg of your journey. But if, there's other questions that I do answer from time to time. Right now I'm creating, in fact, I just recorded it yesterday and I'm going to deliver it to CBT Nuggets Monday. And it is on VRF Lite. Now I've been working with VRF Lite. Real quick. This is not CCNA related, so if you're like, I must not hear anything if it's not CCNA, just close your ears for a second. So if we have a Cisco router and we configure an IP address on an interface, and that interface is up, that in the routing table it says, hey, I'm directly connected to this network, yay. Or if we run routing protocols and we learn routes via OSPF or EIGRP or REP or BGP, those go in the routing table. Routing table's great. Well, it's the global routing table. With something called virtual routing and forwarding instances, we can create separate mini-me versions of routing tables. So you could have 5 or 6 different companies that you're supporting with one router or one multi-layer switch and create little mini routing tables just for them. And that way all their routes can't be mixed up with customer 2 routes and customer 3 routes. It's fantastic. So I've been doing that for a long time, maybe 15 years with VRFs and something called MPLS Layer 3 VPNs. But VRF Lite is simply taking standalone gear without any MPLS, without any Layer 3 VPN stuff, and carving up little routing tables. And so I thought of some creative ways of doing it and how it could be applied and how it could be helping for security and as part of my security core content at CBT Nuggets. So I'm always learning and jumping into new things and loving it. So the journey about learning new things is never going to end, or at least it shouldn't end. And I just removed my feedback monitor. Let me bring that up again. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Let me go ahead and take a few questions. And I saw some pouring in. Let me just go ahead and bring them up real quick. And then I live in Las Vegas, and it is starting to cool off. Finally, starting to cool off. That means the nights get down below 70. I think we had like a 68 degrees. Open the windows. Hey, free air conditioning. Let it in. Okay, let me take a look at these real quick. Thank you for attending, by the way. If you're hanging around for the Q&A, great, great, great. If not, I'll see you next time. Tim003, Keith Barker, nice quiz. Really enjoyed it. Would you have any videos on how to read through a show interface output in YouTube or CBT Nuggets? So I'll tell you what I did last night in preparation for this quiz today. I just went to the online doc. Cisco, Peter Lepukov. I worked with him at INE like 10 years ago, and he's amazing. He has 4 CCIEs at that time. He probably has more now. I don't know. And the way he would prepare for a new CCIE is he would just go to the online doc and read it. And he'd lab it up and say, yep, I understand this, I understand that, and then go test his skills in the lab environment and get his CCIEs. The joke was the joke as I remember it with Peter, it was people would sometimes fail an exam, and Peter would say, yeah, I know how. You know, Peter's a nice guy. I think this is fabricated. But the joke was, Peter would say, I know what it's like. I took the CCIE exam 4 times, and I got 4 CCIEs. He's great. Anyway, going back to this, as far as reading through the output of show interface, just do the Cisco online doc. Go to Packet Tracer, or if you have gear or virtualized gear, all good. Just do some show commands, and then go to the online doc and just go through it. Okay, babbles. What's a babble? You know, like you've had a drink too many. That's not what a babble is, but what is a babble? What is a late collision? What are these, you know, what do these Q factors mean? And you just go through it. And for CCNA, you don't need to understand all the nitty-gritty. I was looking for the blueprint. It's over there. They're going to ask you the basics, though, like how do collisions work in CSMA CD with half duplex, and what do they mean? And, you know, frame check sequences and CRCs, just the basics. You don't have to be an engineer, but just the basics of that. So that's what I did last night. That's the same coaching I would share with you right now, is just go to the online Cisco doc, pretty much any platform. If it's a switch, look at switch documentation. If it's a router, look at router documentation. And based on the years, if it's talking about like iOS 12 something and you're on iOS 15, the output's going to be virtually identical. So that's what I did. Hopefully that helps, Tim. And thanks for being here. Let's see here. Oh, some thank yous. Is that CML in the background? Let me see. So on one of my screens, let me bring it up. So I have a license for Cisco Modeling Labs 2.0 Personal Edition. It's like, I'm not getting choked up. I just choked on my spit. It's like $200 a year US. I have a license for that. I renew it every year. It's a fantastic product. But this thing is even better, in my opinion. It's the EVE-NG. EVE-NG Professional. I think the license for it is somewhere in the $200 range a year. And I've known about it for a long time. I used to use GNS3 for like decades. And I started off like before even GNS3 had a full digit, I was using it and working with it. Loved it because you could emulate your gear. And then I started using Viral, and then I started using EVE-NG, and now Viral is now Cisco Modeling Labs. But you know what? For CCNA and just getting the hands-on practice with a ton of gear and all the commands, virtually all the commands that are needed, Packet Tracer. It's free. I'll say it again. It's free, and it's wonderful. So you don't need to have a server. So those are R630 Dell servers that I bought used. They were on pretty decent price. And I'm doing some clever things with VMware and hypervisors and vSphere. But at the end of the day, it's just to get networking practice. And so this is EVE-NG. This EVE-NG is running on server 3 down there. And that's what it is. Okay. I'm a big fan of, I'm not sponsored by, I don't have any sponsors. I do have an Amazon affiliate link. When I buy something cool for the studio, I put it on my link so that, but besides Amazon, today's message is sponsored by Get It Done. You can do it. But no sponsors at the moment, just trying to help. All right. Thank you. You're very, very welcome. And Okay, so Kazushi is saying, hey, Keith, I think the second question had one interface status as deleted. What would cause that? Good eye. So as I was bringing stuff up and down, if you have like a sub interface and then you say no interface gig 0/2.10 or whatever that sub interface was, then you're supporting trunking on that interface or VLAN. In the config, it may not be removed yet and it may show deleted. That would cause that. So you deleted the interface in the config, but for some reason it's not showing as like missing totally. It simply has the message of deleted. All right, Jared's taking his CCNA exam on Wednesday. Let's everybody give Jared a major vote. Just, you don't have to chat it in, but we're sending you all our thoughts, man. You got this. You can do this. Also, just take a look at that playlist for all the quizzes. Just scrub through them. Like, okay, got it. And if you get to a part where it's like, yeah, I have no clue about any of this topic, study that topic. But yeah, let us know. So Jared, way to commit, letting your friends and colleagues know. Let us know how you do. We'll be looking for it. All right, Bernard's asking about what I should do after CCNA. Hey, Bernard, come and see me in Discord. If you send me if you send me a direct message in my Discord server, those sit waiting for me, and I respond to everybody. It may not be the same day or next day, but it's usually within 5 or 6 days as I catch up to everybody. So you can Discord that, send me a DM, and if you want, we can have a chat there, or we can have a conversation, or you can come to the instructor hour. I want to be available and optimize all of our time. All right, let's see what else. It'd be great to have a podcast as well. You know, there's lots of options out there. Time is I spend about 20 hours a week on YouTube, and it doesn't pay for itself. YouTube is tough. I mean, as far as if you have a business plan and like, this is my career, I'm going to do it, I think a person could do it. Like Network Chuck, he makes amazing if you haven't signed up for Network Chuck, do it. It's great. I watch all his videos. I do. I worked with him at CBT for about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. Great. I'm going to call him a kid. Great kid. He's young. He has several children, another one on the way. His videos are great production value, great content. Can't say enough about him. So, where was I going with all that? Oh, as far as the time, it takes a lot of time to do all those things. And so right now I do usually 2 to 3 videos a week of some type, which include a quiz, recording, and I'm always open for new ideas to help other people too. All right. So Network Chuck, if you're watching, hi. Let's see, what else is there? Rohit, come and see me in Discord, and we can have a chat about synchronization if you'd like to, with a preamble and an Ethernet header. Let's see here. And okay, keep moving down. I think that's it. I'm looking at my names. Am I showing up here? Can you enable port fast on a trunk? Yes, Harold, you can. So if you want to enable port fast on it, which is what I did for that quiz question, you have to actually add the keyword trunk as part of the port fast command. You get an interface, switch port, port fast, enable trunk, I think is the syntax, and that plugs it in. And then it warns you, you could have a layer 2 loop if you're not careful, if you start forwarding too fast. And then you accept it and keep going. Oh, yeah, and Blendinator is saying, my friend Kevin Wallace, well, I don't know if he's a friend of Blendinator, but Kevin Wallace does a great podcast. That's a great one if you want to tune in. Kevin and I have known each other for like 20 plus years. He's another great trainer and has a great podcast. So thanks for that recommendation. And then Mr. NC, regarding CCDE, if you want anything outside of CCNA, just you can hit me up on DM on Discord, and I will be happy to help as best I can. Oh, yeah. And Obey is saying it's the Broadcast Storm is Kevin Wallace's podcast. So be sure to check that out. And Umair is asking, is it less secure to use an EUI64 IPv6 address? No. It's not less secure than putting one in. And there's a whole bunch of first hop protection protocols for IPv6 that Cisco supports that are a good idea to incorporate if you're using IPv6. And so we talked about those at the NP level. And then some of I can't remember which ones because I have several. I've got several CCNP level courses at CBT Nuggets that we have created. And one of those, I cover like 8 IPv6 first hop security protocols. So check those out if you want. All right, so Blendinator saying, I don't know Kevin personally. No, but I did attend some of his courses, though. Fantastic. He's a great guy. Oh, Kasushi's fun. Syscord, as opposed to Discord with the Cisco flavor. Great. And that's great. All right, that's it. I will let you get back to your day. I'm going to go back to editing. I've got some videos that I need to edit on what I created yesterday, which was the VRF Lite. Super excited to see if they're as good as I think they are. Sometimes I record something and I'll go back and think, I'm going to tweak that. That happens quite a bit. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. If you have any needs that I can help you with in your goal for CCNA, please let me know. I hate to say goodbye, but I know time is valuable. Let me send you out with some music, and I will catch you in the next live event, next Discord event, or the next video. Until then, be well, happy studies, and stay safe.